The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show, episode 606, Mr. Somich.
Oh, a big old welcome back, Santa Anita. Huzzah!
Back for 3 weeks? 4 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Something
3 or
like
4
that.
weeks, one of the two. And then we head down to Del Mar for Breeders' Cup. I love this time of year, man. Like, because you have that lull right after Del Mar and Saratoga finish. And now you get Santa Anita back. And then we're going to get Keeneland back next weekend. We've got all these win and you're in races for the Breeders' Cup, kind of the final preps leading up to the big weekend. It's a nice reinvigoration of the horse racing world after that, the quick little break we get after Del Mar and Saratoga.
And, of course, the Breeders' Cup coming to Del Mar once again this fall, Halloween and November 1st to be specific. So they'll pick up the ball at the end of the October month and then run it through Thanksgiving. And then back to Los Al again for the winter meet for a couple weeks. And then Santa Anita holds it for 6 long months. And
Yes.
there's times where it's like, I love Santa Anita, but even I get a little like, can we move on? Can we go somewhere else? Get moving. But hey, this stakes, rather this card on Saturday, they came out swinging. They've got 5 stakes that are graded, including the grade 1, renamed again the Goodwood. It used to be the Awesome again. Then they made it the California Crown. And then that blew up in first Stronach's face. And then they renamed it the Goodwood once again. So the Goodwood, which a race that we'll talk a little bit later on, has been a big key success race for Breeders' Cup Classic horses. Not sure we're going to see that this year from this group, but we can talk about that later. As I mentioned, we're going to have 4 graded stakes races in this sequence. Race 7, of course, they threw in a starter allowance, going 6 furlongs on dirt, because why not?
Hey, why not? Might as well.
It definitely, I think, will help make this pay better, because if you threw in the grade 2 City of Hope Mile, that's earlier on the card, you've got Johannes, who's going to be 1-5 in that race and probably wins easily. So smart of them to do this. That's in the early pick 5. You want to play that, but we've got this. Also, real quick, just to mention with Santa Anita coming back, they're following the lead of some of these other tracks, which is great to see, Mike, especially Del Mar. New wagers. You have an all-turf pick 3 that's a $3 minimum, 15% takeout. You have the daily double in the pick 3s. The last ones of the day are raised, so they pick 3 $3 minimum, 15% takeout. And then the double is now, the late double is $5 with a 15% takeout. So we saw this be successful with Del Mar. We've seen it be successful at other tracks. It's nice to see Santa Anita following that trend.
Yeah, it is nice to see them following that trend. They also followed the trend that Del Mar set, Naira had set prior to, where CAWs are not going to be allowed in the win pool in the final 2 minutes, which is good to see as well. And of course, they also, I guess, First Bet, Express Bet, whatever you want to call them, Stronach, decided to put out the Sunset Pick 6 as well, which is a $1 15% takeout wager with no computer-assisted wagering accounts allowed in. It's a Pick 6 featuring the final 3 at Santa Anita and the final 3 at Gulfstream Park every day the 2 are running, which is great because I love that late pick 3 at Santa Anita anyway. So
right.
The $3 Del Mar I thought was a phenomenal addition. They paid very well. So now I'll be looking at the last 3 at Santa Anita every day anyway. So then you take a peek at the last 3 at Gulfstream, and if you like something, definitely a worthwhile idea to throw that pick 6 into there as well. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the new wagers that they got, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out here with Santa Anita back open.
Daryl, it's been a long time since Santa Anita has been running. Did they actually? They might have had that before.
I
apologize if I forgot.
They had the $5 double for a long time because they also had the California pick 4 with Golden Gate and with Del Mar, or Santa Anita or Del Mar, which I actually really like.
The golden shower. That was
the golden shower, and the golden double.
Aaron, I will boot you from this. Do not get me started. I am F you. All right.
I don't even know that reference.
A reference to last week when I brought up Los Ponies and then his theory. Go. Aaron, I'm gonna kick you in the belly next time I see you. Let's get into it though. The late pick 5 at Santa Anita on Saturday, September 27th. 4 of them graded stakes races, plenty of Breeders' Cup winning your ins, and 2 guys who can give you the winning tickets. Let's get into it. Riders up. All right, Mike, the first leg of the Late Pick 5, Saturday, September 27th at Santa Anita. We're going to go to race number 6, the John Henry Turf Championship Stakes, Grade 2, mile and a quarter, where they start kind of at the exit of the downhill turf course, go across the dirt crossing, and then do a full loop. It's kind of a funky little setup because Santa Anita's got a little bit of a funky turf course. 7 runners set to go postward. And the big question, Gold Phoenix, your 3-2 morning line favorite. Definitely the king of the Western Turf division for the males, but he's tried this 3 times fast, where 4 times fast, where he wins the Del Mar handicap and then comes here. One time he was good, the other times he's been horrible. So what do you do with Gold Phoenix?
I singled Gold Phoenix. I look, this was the issue for me. We talked about this a lot with ticket structure, right? If you don't single here and you like the 6 and the 7, you're really putting yourself behind the 8 ball. And I have the 7 on top. I have the 6 and second. And so for me, it was one of those, okay, do I play a cheaper ticket here because I am going to single a favorite in the first leg and just not include the second one? I almost went 7-2. I think Balladeer is a little bit interesting here at 15-1. And if I'm going to use a second horse in a 3-2 shot, I want it to be one that could blow the board up. But I don't really believe that Balladeer has that legitimate of a shot at winning this race. So I singled Gold Phoenix. My ticket's only $48 because of it. So we're going to start out cheap here, see if we can get the favorite home. A little worried, like you said, about how good this horse has been at Del Mar and how Santa Anita, we just have not seen the same consistency. That being said, I do think this is just your best horse. And the more you go through it, it's like, yeah, look, if Gold Phoenix runs the A race, this thing is over. I like the fact it's third off the layoff. Now, you could have said that last year about this race as well, and that didn't go well. But you do have third off the layoff here. We get Rispoli in the irons. So I'm going to go with the number 7, Gold Phoenix here, and hopefully we can kick it off with a nice single to start it.
I'm going to go against him. He is, I agree. Then you said that he's the best horse. He's the classiest horse in here, but I can't ignore that he just is a much better horse when he's at Del Mar, and we see that. Now, he still could beat this group because I don't think that there's anyone that's really going to scare you in a big way. I chucked him. I went with the 5 and the 6. The 6 horse, Stay Hot. I know that was your second horse in here. You didn't want to use the 2 shortest prices. I love the fact that this horse in the Del Mar handicap, first time going beyond 9 furlongs, was second beaten in neck to Gold Phoenix. And there was a little bit of a traffic issue for him in this stretch, and he still got going. At Titlan, the third place horse, who was just a neck and a head behind the top 2 in the Del Mar handicap. He was aiming for this. He's hurt. Unfortunately, he's going to be out for a bit. But I think the fact that you have these horses in here, or that Stay Hot is in here, is a good sign. Mike Smith has ridden this horse twice. He went to Lone Star in June. Somebody convinced him to go there, and he won with the horse Gate to Wire. And then in the handicap, he was able to come from off the pace with Smith aboard. So the buyers are trending up for this horse. He is proven 3 for 6 over the turf course here. And then also the 5, Mondigo, was a length and a quarter behind Gold Phoenix and Stay Hot in the Del Mar handicap. I think that this horse is another one kind of trending in the right direction. He's only had 3 starts in SoCal, was with Christophe Clement out in New York. And you notice he was like a front runner in a lot of those races. But then came to California and turned into a bit of a closer. And the 2 races with Kimura have been going, 11 furlongs have been awfully, awfully good. So if anybody can beat the 7, I think the 5 and 6 are most likely to do it. Beyond that, Mike, it was real hard for me to make a case for anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, the 2's the speed play, right? 2's going to get the lead. Like, do you think the 2 can take him Gate to Wire? That was my reasoning for a 15-1 there, willing to throw the speed on if you want to take a shot. I think the 6 is obviously interesting. Like I said, I have this horse in second. You mentioned the increasing buyers. I thought that was definitely impressive. The one thing about the Santa Anita record, all the wins were not at like graded stakes company. So 3 for 6 over the course, but the 3 wins all came in overnight stakes or lower levels than that. Ran second twice in graded stakes, so those are positives. But it hasn't beaten this type of competition before, and that to me was the main reason I decided to go with the 7 over the 6. Now, I was within a neck of the 7 last time and did have a little traffic trouble. Didn't think that 7 got the best trip in the world either, trying to run into a pretty slow pace there. So we'll see what this sets up as. 5, I can see it. I didn't love the 5. I thought the 5 was probably going to get over bet. I kind of wish the 5 was a little faster early. Kind of weird that you see 48, 49, 47 New York paces, and then you come to Santa Anita and it's 50, or come to California, it's 51 and 50, and we're off the lead. Like that, usually the New York is the slow pace, the California is the quicker pace early in these turf races, and we're flipping styles despite the fact that the speed didn't really flip here. So I can see why you're using the 5 and the 6. I agree if you're going to try and get around the 7, those are the two most logical winners after that. One on the rail, Rostam and Vibe, I looked at for a little bit, but feels like this is a pretty big step up here. Now, Nap, pretty good off the claim, nearly 20%, but over 6 in graded stakes. I do think it's good that Hernandez rides through the claim. I just think this is probably a little bit too big of a task. I was surprised that horse was 5-1 on the morning line.
Yeah, I think I would have been more interested in using the one horse if the price was better, and maybe it will be. I mean, that you have the benefit of this race kicking off the sequence to see how the tote is playing, but I mean, they paid $50,000 for this horse to claim him out of 2 straight wins, going 11 furlongs at Del Mar. But along with he's never been in a graded stakes race, he's 0 for 13 on this turf course, and his best buyers are 87, 88. Yes, they're in his last 2 races, but that's so much below what the 7 can do. The 6 has done much better, and even the 5's effort, he's got multiple efforts that are in the 90s. So they're taking a swing. I could definitely see the 1 hit the board, right? But I don't think that he's going to be strong enough to hold off the big closers in the stretch there. So I'm glad you brought him up, because I was going to ask you what you thought about the 1, because it is intriguing. There's a lot of things to like about it. Yeah, I don't know that I want him in a grade 2 Breeders' Cup winning year in for the turf.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a case like, hey, the stretch out was obviously a good thing for this horse. Last 2 races going a mile and 3/8, ran 2 of the better races in the career, but would need a pretty big improvement, right? And I don't see a tactical edge. That's why, like, the 2 with the speed is more interesting to me, because, like, at least I have a tactical edge over everybody else, whereas there's no real tactical edge with the 1 here.
Race number 7, the only non-graded stakes race on the card, and it's a doozy. Starter optional claimers going 6 furlongs. Older males in a field of 9 entered to go postward. Even the morning line is saying this is not a slam dunk race for anyone. The 4-horse Devil Among Us is 7-2. Is going to go out there for Battleborn Racing Stable, which is the nom de plume for Nick Hines, one of my coworkers over at FanDuel. But no offense, Sarge, didn't put him on my ticket. How did you play this race?
I am fading all the speed. So this is one of those races where I look through it and I'm like, okay, we're going 6, not 5.5. That matters. And there's a lot of cheap speed in here. Like the 4 Devil Among Us feels like cheap speed. The 6 Hotbox feels like cheap speed. The 8 Bally Von Gig feels like cheap speed. The 9 Tiger in My Tank feels like cheap speed. So Mike said, who do we think can close? And first answer to that question was the number 7, 406 Creed by Jimmy Creed, one of our favorite sires here on the show. Coming off the claim for Mullins, who's 24% when claiming. Last time out went a mile. Ran okay, but probably not the best distance for this horse. The cutback, I think, is a benefit here. I realize we're switching we're switching tack here from being, at lower level racetracks, then tried the Del Mar Mile. Now we're going to Santa Anita, but there's races in the back that fit, and I think the pace sets up so well for a horse to be able to come from off it. I think the 7 is kind of be the closest of the closers. It makes the most sense of the closers, so I start out with the 7, 406 Creed.
You and I attacked this race the exact same way, and the 7, second choice for me, but the fact that this horse went from Delta Downs to Century Mile and Century Downs, which is in I'm going to get this wrong, Alberta. One of them is near Edmonton, one of them is near Calgary. And then suddenly Diodoro, he's raced a lot up in Western Canada. That's where I think he did a lot of his learning early on. He puts the horse into a race at Del Mar, finished a good third. The horse that won repeated next out with a 78 buyer. That's good enough to win here. Now cuts back and was claimed by a barn that knows what the hell they're doing with these types of horses. So all signs point to me, or point to the 7, 406 Creed being a good one. I put the 3-horse Supernal on top, a Calbred son of Sky Mesa that Doug O'Neill claimed back in May out of a race at Santa Anita, and then ran in 2 races at Del Mar on the turf, one going 5 furlongs, showed a good kick to close, then tried a mile towards the end of the meet. I'm guessing maybe the horse was unable to draw into another sprint race, or maybe they wanted to try him at a mile. But You look at his past races, he's succeeded on dirt before. He's 2 for 5 on dirt. He does have he's not a true deep closer when he's on dirt in his better races. So I think Kazushi Kimura picking up the mount is a good sign. He's coming off of another stellar little meet there at Los Al. And the horse is 5 wins. 3 of them have come at 6 furlongs. So I think Supernal, another one that will be kind of like the 7, won't be on the lead, but won't be coming from, the parking lot to try and close into the pace either.
Yeah, I'd say saw this one the same way. This is another stalker that kind of fits the race flow that I'm expecting in this spot. You mentioned success over Santa Anita, success at the distance, success on dirt. I think it's a good thing we're going back to the dirt here after being on the turf twice for the O'Neill barn. So I think the 3 makes a ton of sense. Not going to add too much to that one. I did use 2 other horses here. Give me the number 5, Raging Waters. His horse needs to step up here, considering the class aspect, but the pace is just going to set up beautifully for Raging Waters. We'll see if we're going to be able to get to the wire first here. Going to be closing late, going to come from far back. But again, I think there's 4 cheap speed horses here, and at this level, they're all going to go. I don't see any world where you see one horse kind of get the break and jump on everybody. And if they do all come back, I think that the 5 is one of those horses that can really benefit from it. The race at Los Al is kind of what I'm looking for just from a structural perspective. Now, the horse was squeezed early in that spot, but we saw a nice closing kick and just missing at the 5.5 mark. You got to kind of throw out those 3 Del Mar races and then just focus on the Santa Anita, where this horse has done the best work. Now, it doesn't have a win over this dirt course, but has 3 places in 6 efforts. And if you look at the Del Mar dirt efforts, they're just not as good. The race 2 back wasn't bad at a decent price, but that was a race where this horse was on the lead. I don't think that's necessarily what we're going to see here or the style that I want. So I'm hoping the 5 horse is able to come from off it here and get past those back-to-back second place finishes and get into the winner's circle at a nice price at 10-1 with the race flow setup that I'm looking for.
So we actually, I was like, wait a minute, I wonder if we use the exact same 4 horses, and we did. So I will just add on the 5 horse Raging Waters is one of those that you really got to go deeper into the past performances, because there are races that absolutely fit. For example, those 3 places at Santa Anita, 2 of them are going 6 furlongs, lost by a nose. Okay, so you're a nose away from having this horse being 6, 2, and 1. And then the other time the horse lost was 5.5, and it was just like that Los Al race at 5.5, missed by half a length, was flying late. Tried 7 furlongs, didn't do well, and then had another 6 furlong race where the horse got absolutely pinballed around at the gate. So I think this is a horse that you can go deep and look at. I just hope it doesn't get too overbet because of that closing kick at Los Al, because it is difficult going 5.5 to come from 8.25 lengths off and close, even against 10K claimers. It's not easy to do that. So I hope that he just doesn't get overbet. And then we both use the 1 horse Kahuna Magic. John Sheriff's trainee gets Umberto Rispoli aboard for the 2nd time. Last time Rispoli rode, it was last October at Del Mar, and the horse won by 2.25 lengths. It was going 6.5. This is a horse that maybe ultimately Mike is better at 6.5 versus 6, but off the layoff, hasn't run since March, I think is a good spot for the horse. 6.5 off the layoff, maybe he's not going to have that same big kick, but at 6 furlongs, maybe he can get there.
Yeah, we saw like race 2 back, fast pace. This horse was flying late and kind of flattened out a little bit. We'll see if we can have a little better kick than then, but did break the maiden at Santa Anita, going 6 furlongs, coming from off the pace. So that all kind of fits. I do like the fact that Rispoli has ridden this horse once and rode this horse to a victory. And so I'm willing to take a shot here at a price at 12-1. And so for me, it really was, okay, who are the kind of stalkers I like, and then who are the deep closers I like, and that's how I got to the 1, 3, 5, and 7. I think they just fit this race flow the best of everybody in this race.
Moving on to race number 8, the Grade 2 Eddie D Stakes, the first of 2 straight down the hill races, even with the John Henry kind of starting at the bottom of the hill course. But this one for 3-year-olds and up, going down the hillside course, about 6.5 furlongs. Not sure who's going to ride the Paco Lopez horses. Not going to dive into that controversy, but Paco Lopez off his mounts right now. So at least for the next 6 months, I shouldn't say right now. As of today, he's got a 6-month vacation that he was given. But so with that said, Reef Runner, the horse who actually crossed the wire first in the Green Flash Handicap, that was another hot button topic there. So Reef Runner, not the horse's fault, just clouded in controversy right now. All that to say, who are you playing on top in the Eddie D?
I like Relief Runner, but give me the number 8 here, first piece on top. 9-2 on the outside gate for Mark Glatt, who's had a phenomenal meet. Very good with this specific second off the layoff. 34% in the winner's circle when you got the second off the layoff after 180-day layoff. This horse loves this course. Loves going downhill here at Santa Anita. 6 efforts, 3 wins, 3 seconds. I thought ran a sneaky good Green Flash, which was kind of a mess of a race in and of itself. But he had trouble early. He got forced really wide. You still saw a late kick. Yep. And no, he didn't pass a bunch of horses, but he closed 5 lengths in that race, that 5 furlong race, which is totally relevant. Like, that is a move. It just, there wasn't a lot of horses within him because of the trouble that he had in the race. It's Mike Smith, but Mike Smith has consistently rode this horse to victory and rode this horse well. I also kind of like the price here. I mean, you look at the past prices you've gotten on this horse down the hill. It's even money. It's $1.40. It's $1.70, right? $1.90 in the Eddie D, which he won here. And now we're getting 9-2 against what I don't think is like a world beater of a field. So I'll take a little bit of a shot here on the outside, the number 8 at 9-2.
We agree on the same top pick for all the reasons that you mentioned. I won't keep it going. We agreed on 2 horses here. That one. We also agreed on my second choice, the 6 horse Beyond Brilliant, a horse who came back from 2.5 years off, which I couldn't believe was the case for a horse that had won the City of Hope Mile in 2022, won the Charlie Willingham, a Grade 2 race going on a quarter in 2022. They brought him back in the Wicker Stakes, and he looked like, he was gone for 2.5 years. Yep. Came back again in a mile race, showed good speed out of the gate, and then just coughed it up. But that race was somehow an optional claiming event that had Astronomer, Gold Phoenix, Final Boss. Like, that was a stakes race that he was in. They were like, okay, maybe this horse at age 7, maybe he's better sprinting. What does he do in the Green Flash? He has to draw the rail, gets pinched back almost to last. And you talk about the rally that First Piece had. How about the rally that Beyond Brilliant had? I mean, he flew. He was a length behind Reef Runner and Motorious in that spot, and now is going to be sprinting down the hill. He does have a lot of mile background. I tend to look for milers going down the hill unless there's a complete pace advantage for a sprinter. I think that this 6 is tactical. I don't think he's going to come from that far back this time under Ricky Gogo. I think that this horse, if he's got that late kick in him again from the Green Flash, this horse will be flying in the stretch.
Yeah, kind of surprised that was the first time this horse turf sprinted, to be honest with you, because you look through the races and like, this is your classic, hey, we can't quite get a mile speed horse, maybe we should turf sprint it. There's a bunch of those races where, hey, we led until the final furlong of a mile race. Let's cut it back, use that tactical speed and see if we can pass horses. And we saw in the Green Flash that maybe that's a good idea. This was a nice effort, the highest buyer after returning. Now you're getting a 4th race in this horse, which I think absolutely matters for a horse that had as long of a layoff. We're talking like multiple year layoff between the Seabiscuit and that Wicker race that you mentioned. I think that you could see improvement here. Second time turf sprinting, you're definitely going to get a better trip. You can't get much worse of a trip. And this to me also highlights why I think the 8 is kind of getting like, it's a little, not a lot of love. The 8 made up 5 lengths. The 6 made up 6 lengths, yet the 6 looks so much better on paper out of that race. And it wasn't that big of a delta in the effort. It was just because of where they finished. And so I think the 6 is awfully live in here. Like you said, I like that speed cutting back to the sprint distance. I wish we were getting 47-1 again, but there's a lot of reasons we weren't last time. So it's not like this is a wedding funeral situation in my mind, because we didn't know. There was no clue that you were going to get that effort from Beyond Brilliant. And now you have something on paper that you can point to. So I did like the 6 as well. That was my 3rd horse on here. I'm going to use the 1 Reef Runner. That was number 2 on here for me. I thought this last race was very good from Reef Runner. I think Reef Runner deserves to be the favorite in this spot. Was a little further back than I kind of expected there. Going the 6.5 is a question mark here, as we have not gone this distance before. But the style that we've seen at 5 furlongs, at Gulfstream Park, at Del Mar, it all points to, hey, we're not going to have an issue getting this extra furlong and a half. And the fact that we're going downhill as well, where that first half mile is a little bit easier on horses turf sprinting because you are getting a little bit of momentum as well, helps those type of horses get the distance. So I'm 1-6-8 here.
It was the downhill and the fact the horse will be, well, not really on the rail, but actually drawn out wide because of how the gate setup is there. As far as this was a question that I think it was Michael Osen brought, who will pick up the Paco Lopez mount? I haven't heard anything about it, but there is a name that is conspicuously absent, especially for this being a turf race. at Santa Anita Park. Antonio Fresu does not have a mount. I think Fresu would be a fantastic pickup for the Fox Barn if they can get him. Fresu, by the way, has to deal with the suspension, but they're allowing him to ride in graded stakes races, so he would be able. Well, maybe I don't know if that affects his ability to pick up a mount. If they,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Is Bravo
a very
on the
complicated situation?
Is Bravo on the West Coast?
No,
because he was ridden
retired.
Oh,
he
did
still
he straight up?
riding?
Oh no, he was. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who would fit him here that you've got in town.
Yeah,
I mean, Fresu makes sense.
No, Bravo's still riding. I apologize. I think I was thinking of Robbie Alvarado.
Yeah, maybe Bravo. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking through the colony trying to figure out, does Ayuso have a mount? Maybe Ayuso gets it. It's tough. It's really tough. And unfortunately, we just don't know who is going to pick it up. But last one for me, I use the 5 on here, yellow card. This horse is coming out of a pair of really solid sprint races at Del Mar. Those were fine. Like I said, I usually look for milers in this kind of a situation. The fact that this horse was second beaten a length behind Howard Wallowitz last year in a grade 1 at Kentucky Downs, that's what pushed me over the edge. Is this horse also went to Churchill Downs and beat entry-level allowance company by 2 1/4 length. Didn't just beat them, like beat them that day. So there are races this horse has, and maybe just Del Mar 5 furlongs was a touch too short for him. He did pick up a win, was second beaten in neck. His better efforts were at Churchill against Tuffer and then that grade 1 at Kentucky Downs. So I put him on here, but he's also, I think the back class in the recent form is going to make it harder to play him for your ticket, because I also know you're using Gold Phoenix in the first race. So I can understand it. 7-2 morning line, he will take play. I could see you being hesitant here.
I wouldn't be shocked if he's your favorite when they break from the gate, and that was one of the reasons I left him off here, especially since I am using the 1. It was kind of down to the 1 or the 5 for me, and I had the 5 and 4th in this race, so I get it, understand why you want the horse. I just decided to go a different direction. I think the 4 is a little interesting as well, but again, can't use them all, and to me, I wanted to try and find a little bit of a price, and I like the 8 and the 1. So
didn't you also use the 7, didn't you?
No. Oh,
you had the set.
Oh, I'm just going to go 3 deep here.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure you hadn't forgotten this stuff. It is interesting. Kale's Angel is going to try turf again. He broke his maiden sprinting, went to the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance race, which is back in Breeders' Cup undercard, where you had 7 future stakes winners come out of that. 5 horses won next out. An incredible, the most key race ever from 2024 was that race. I think he's better sprinting. I think he's kind of a speed and try to hold on angle, but he's at least interesting. And you have Hernandez picking up the mount too.
Yeah, Hernandez picking up the mount. Peter Miller training pretty good at this level with the time off. So it is a speed play, right? If you want to go with the 7, can we go gate to wire? That is the big question. The problem is the 3. If the 3 wasn't here, the 7 becomes a lot more interesting. But Mucho del Oro, probably your speed in this race, probably your cheaper speed in this race, not able to hold on. Noah Murley, not late. If the 3 scratches, the 7 becomes a lot more interesting for me. But with the 3 in there, was a tough one to use.
Yeah. By the way, I just saw from Brad Free's article on this race. Fresu is the backup jockey for Refrunner on the rail. So
yep.
Makes a lot of sense. Let's move on to race number 9, the Goodwood Stakes grade 1 event, 1 1/8 on dirt, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. This race has produced California Chrome, Accelerate, several. I know we ran a graphic on FanDuel about how many horses have won this race and then gone on to have success in the Classic. So with that being said, I don't know that we have the Classic winner in this race, but how did you play the Goodwood?
Yeah, I don't think we have the Classic winner in here. I'm editing my ticket all over the place during the show here. That's always fun. I'm gonna play $1 ticket. Okay, I'm gonna go 2 deep here.
All right.
Top pick for me. I don't trust First Mission.
No.
I don't love Full Serrano. I do think Full Serrano the more likely of the 2 favorites to win. Give me the number 5. Nevada Beach here, 12-1 for Bobby Baffert. The other Baffert in this spot, Privman and Gaming, I think are going to be forwardly placed. I think Full Serrano is going to be forwardly placed. I think First Mission and Nevada Beach kind of sit that middle tier trip, and I'm getting 12-1 on one of them. I'm getting 8-5 on the other, and I do think there's upside for Nevada Beach here off the layoff.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take a shot here. Give me the number 5, Nevada Beach at 12-1.
Sorry, Nick. There, Nevada. I think if you're going to use a Baffert, that's the one I can trust the most, which is not really saying a whole lot. Um, I ended up singling full Serrano in here, but as far as Nevada Beach goes, there is upside to him. To go out of breaking his maiden, he's very late to the races, right? But he comes back from that, goes to the Affirm, second to Gaming, who was a 4-horse race. Gaming went to the lead and just kind of ran in a circle. The Los Al Derby, that was a good effort because he, again, 4-horse field, but he really, like, at 1.8 showed something there. So I thought that was nice for him to show. A couple reasons I love Full Serrano. He came back from that Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile win last year in September and absolutely crushed them. Now, there wasn't it was a 5-horse field, but you could have had every reason for that horse to say, like, oh, he wasn't that great, he wasn't this or that. He destroyed them. He's been working lights out. I think he wins this and goes back to the Dirt Mile. I don't want to see him in the Classic because, the Classic is super deep. Last year, going a 1.25 miles in the Pacific Classic at Del Mar, he couldn't beat Mixto. That was not a good look from him. Also, Juan Hernandez is risking his entire SoCal riding career by – there's 3 Bafferts. Hernandez says no to Nevada Beach, who he's been aboard for all 3. He says no to Priven, he's been aboard for the 2 wins, the last 2 starts. And he says no to Gaming, who he rode to his maiden score back in August. And he's going to ride Full Serrano. It's a gutsy move from Juan Hernandez's jockey agent to say no to Baffert 3 times. But I think he knows that something is really sharp here with Full Serrano. So I'm just going to singling him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a choice to not ride any of the Bafferts, but it makes sense too. And they by the way, have said they're sending him to the Breeders' Cup Classic if he wins this race, which
Full Serrano?
Yeah, which also is a choice. So we'll see where he goes. I think he should be in the mile. I agree with you. I think that's a better fit. I'm going to use Full Serrano here because I do respect the speed. I'm worried that this is a setup where Pribman goes, Gaming's involved, first mission's forward, and all of a sudden there's just a lot of speed in this race, and it makes it very difficult for Serrano to finish it because it's not a mile, right? Because we are going further than any distance this horse has won at in the U.S. or on dirt, right? The 1.25 mile win on turf over in Argentina. So I'm going to use 5-7. I think the 7 is the most likely winner from a favoritism perspective. Like if you want to pick who wins this race the most times out of 10, probably Full Serrano. But I like the price on Nevada Beach. I'm going to try and get here with just 2 of them and use the 5 and the 7.
I think that's the direction I would probably head as well. I looked at this and I was like, I swear to God, if Express Train wins this race because there's too much speed, and this dumb horse that's 8 years old and somehow has made $1.6 million in his career by collecting second and third place check. If this is the race he wins, I'm going to be very. I'm just going to find alcohol. I'll just say it right now. If this is the race that knocks me out because of Express Train. Because he drives me insane every time he shows up.
Nick brings up Ultimate Gamble. I kind of agree with him. I think this is a pick up the pieces horse. If you're playing tries or supers, and he mentioned afterwards second or third not winning. I think that's right. Like this horse ran third in the Pacific Classic, but kind of was just also ran there. I don't think he's good enough to win, but I do think this is a relevant horse for exotics.
A very expensive Son of Medaglia d'Oro purchased for $1.75 million. And has earned $275,000 so far. So they would like to start collecting back on that, please and thank you.
Yeah, no kidding. 10 lifetime efforts in 5 years, also not great.
All right, let's move on to the 5th and final race to end the pick 5 on Saturday, September 27th, Santa Anita. The newly renamed, formerly the Unzip Me Stakes, now the Grade 3 John C. Harris Stakes, named for the late great California breeder. And a guy who was a staunch supporter of California racing for decades upon decades. Down the hillside turf course, 3-year-old fillies and 13 entries, including the 1-horse Warming for Graham Motion. And that's a big deal because Graham Motion has shipped 5 horses to California this year. He's won 3 times and finished second. So
is that good?
Yeah, Graham Motion sending horses with purpose to California. Where'd you go on top?
Yeah, I did VSiN at the track with Aaron for VSiN yesterday. This was one of my best bets. I like Warming quite a bit in this spot. You mentioned the motion angle. I also think this horse might be better sprinting. Debuted at turf sprint, broke the maiden, came back and ran really well in the second race. Take the A train. And just didn't get there. Again, it looks like worse because the horse finished fifth, but finished fifth 3/4 of a length from the lead against some pretty darn good turf sprinters over there. Goes out, wins at wins at Delaware, and it probably was a negative for this horse's career because then we're like, you know what? Let's go 2 turns and try the Belmont Oaks and the Lake Placid and face Fione, Nitrogen, Optimate Restraint, Mayday Ready, like the best of the 2-year-old or 3-year-old fillies going 2 turns on the East Coast. Now we get back to sprinting. Now we face an easier field. And let's be honest, this didn't draw very well. Like this is not a monster field. So I do like the one warming quite a bit here, 7-2. I think this is going to be a shorter price than this. I think you're probably getting like 5-2, maybe 2-1, and I'm still happy with that. I think warming should be a clear favorite in this spot.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it was a very like good race, and it really wasn't that sneaky if you watch the replay or you pay any attention to it. But it was impressive from warming. I think this is a better sprinter than going long. I think that Delaware race kind of gave them a little bit too many like long-term aspirations that, hey, we can go 2 turns and take on the best that there is to offer. I think that was probably a mistake.
Yeah, to beat entry-level allowance horses at Delaware Park by a neck as the 3-5 favorite and think, let's go to a grade 1 race.
Yeah. Nah, bro.
I mean, I can understand you want to learn what you have in the barn. After 2 races at Saratoga, we've learned what we have in the barn. So that's totally okay. You just went too deep. The second choice for me was warming. My top play is the horse you used elsewhere. It's the 9-horse Eiffel. I realized at 2 races at Del Mar, 1 second beaten a neck in a rough trip, but was so close. And then no idea what the hell happened on September 1st. She just was pulling, was a bit rank, and then it was a total non-effort. If you scratch that race out and look at the 2 at Del Mar and Santa Anita, especially when she broke her maiden at Santa Anita sprinting, she would not be 8-1. I don't know that she's going to be 8-1, but that race was too good. Both of those races from Eiffel, too good to be believed that she was as bad as she was in the September 1st effort. So you scratch that off. 9 Eiffel, I think, fits really well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Shout out to our boy Geist, who owns a piece of this horse. Who I helped him pick out, by the way. So shout out to myself as well.
Yeah.
Look, this is.
Shut up, Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron's a dick. Look, I think you go back to that first race, it was really impressive. The second race, I thought the horse didn't it was kind of a messy race, didn't break that well, had trouble on the first turn, was close late, but just couldn't quite get up. The last race, again, I agree with you, just too bad to believe, right? That one was just too big of a mess. Sorry, I got races on in the background. One was just an absolute mess there. And now we're going into Graded Stakes Company, which I think is a very aggressive placement here from Little Red Feather. I think it tells you they believe that this horse does have a bunch of talent, which, Geist was telling us is what the ownership group was saying after that first effort. So I think it's a positive. We know this horse likes Santa Anita's turf. We'll find out about the downhill. I'm just going too deep here. I'm just going 1-9 and hoping to get through here. I looked at the 8 for a long time. Favor to you, a horse that I've picked before that I really like. But I think the 1... I didn't want to go that deep because the 1's in here. I think that the 1 is that good compared to the rest of this field.
I did go deep, and I might rework this later. I ended up going 6 deep in here, so I did use the 8. I'll fly through them. Because I didn't think there was a standout. I think if the 1 doesn't fire down the hill, I think it's kind of a wide open race. And there's a couple of interesting cases about horse. You talked about the 8. The fact that she went to Ellis and ran third in a 5.5 furlong turf sprint with Flo aboard. I thought now you're getting Hernandez aboard. Talk about a jockey upgrade. So that's a good angle. Phil D'Amato's got 3 in here.
Yeah.
Right? 2 or 3. He's got 2. I always forget that Eiffel is not with D'Amato because it's Little Red Feather.
Yeah,
that's with Mike Pipey.
Mm-hmm.
The other one that he has in here, the 4-horse Innovative, actually beat Eiffel on August 9th and hasn't raced since then. So you look at her race pattern, she runs well when she has some spacing with her races. So I put her on here. She has one going a mile and an 1/8. She's one going a mile. She's never gone 1 turn, but I think that'll give her a little bit of a stamina edge in here. She also was second to Thought Process 2 back, which was a good effort. I talked about the 4, the 6-horse Casalou. Just his speed. This horse's speed. She's one going down the hill, won the Sweet Life Stakes back in Santa Anita in February. Is a speed horse though, so you've got that to contend with. But she's 2 for 3 at Santa Anita with a second to boot with that. And then the fact that she also, was grade 3 placed, I liked. The 8 horse we talked about, the 4 horse, the 11 Wink and Grin I also put on. And this is going back to Barrios' move. This is a horse that's been doing well at a mile. Reigning Grand Slam Smile, we know how good she is as a Calbred. But Wink and Grin, with Hector Barrios aboard, got the nice win going a mile at Santa Anita. Exit that to be 4th against Open Company, a really good 4th in that spot. I didn't want to get knocked out if Hector Barrios wins a turf race here. So Wink and Grin, bred and owned by Harris Farms, which is John C. Harris, the guy the race is named for. That was his bread and butter, was Harris Farms. So it would be a really cool story if the 11 wins. But if I were to trim this down, which again I still might, I would just go 1, 6, and 9, because I think that Castaloo with that down the hill turf experience is not something to be ignored.
Yeah, I hate Baffert turf horses. It takes a lot for me to put a Baffert turf horse on. So that's who would you rank the lowest? I want to talk you into a horse.
Oh, between those 4?
No, between you said you were going 6 deep here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Between your 6 horses, if I could talk you off one of them, who was the 6th horse on?
Probably the 11.
Okay.
Wink and Grin.
Maybe you want to just go 7 deep then.
Okay.
See.
Who do you like? Talk to me about a price.
The number 5, Lee's Baby Girl, 15 to 1 on the morning line.
Okay.
If you're going deep, I think you have to use this horse.
Okay.
We talk about Carla Gaines quite a bit on the show. She claims this horse for $50,000 at Santa Anita, and the horse wins easily. Big favorite in a $50,000 maiden claimer there. The Doug O'Neill barn thought enough of this horse to send it to the Jimmy Durante, a grade 3, still a maiden. Yep. Debuted turf sprinting, ran well, ran second. Took a long time to break the maiden. Comes back first off the claim for Carla Gaines. Off a layoff, which we know she doesn't do that well. And wins in an $80,000 optional N1X after being claimed for $50K out of a maiden claimer. And then she throws it into a stakes race where she has another horse.
Yeah.
If I was going to go deeper, the 5's on the ticket for me at 15 to 1. I think that's a very, very interesting horse at a price that I think is going to get ignored. And there are races in the back class in that 2-year-old season that point toward the fact that there is still upside for this horse. Ran a 75 over the Del Mar turf. Career high buyers 80 as a 3-year-old later in the season. You can expect more than a 5-point buyer uptick, less than a 10% uptick off the best 2-year-old number. I think the 5 is awfully interesting because you just don't see Carla Gaines claim and then off a long layoff, raise the horse up in class, win a race, and then go, you know what? Let's jump into stakes company. It says a lot about what they think of Lee's Baby Girl.
That's a great point. So let's work this out together since we have a little bit of time here. The 5 and 6 both have similar style, which is go to the front. If I'm using the 5, should I drop the 6? Because the 6 is also 5 to 1 with Baffert.
I don't like the 6 at all. But again, I don't like Baffert turf horses. The down the hill, I think, is relevant. But like the down the hill win in the Sweet Life, the horse was less than even money.
3 to 5, yeah.
And
this is a much tougher group.
Yeah. And so like I look at that and I'm like, well, yeah, they got the win, but like, does that really count? Because you should win that race. And so for me, that's not one of those where I'm like, well, that was a nice, impressive win. Whereas Lee's Baby Girl last time should not have won that race. There's a bunch of reasons why she shouldn't have won that race, and yet she did. And so I would drop the 6 of the horses you're using. But you also, when you're 6 deep, you adding a 7th is the least expensive addition, right? So, but the 5 is, I'm not using the 5 yet. I'm here talking the 5 up. It was my 3rd horse on. I was 1, 9, 5, 8 in this spot. But I do think if you're going to go deep, I think you have to use the 5.
Dropping the 6, adding the 5. I think they have a similar running style. This is a race, by the way, the 5 of the last 6 years, the favorite won it. So maybe a race that traditionally, each year is different, but maybe traditionally this is a race I shouldn't be going 7 deep in.
Yeah, it's at least there's 13 horses. It's a unique one.
That's true.
That's always good. I do want to bring up a comment earlier, which I intentionally ignored till now. All right, question.
I was going to bring this up too.
It's
Glad you
late
caught it.
5, which is a 20, we'll call it 24% just so it's easy. 24% takeout with the CAW sequence. Better to play than just the all pick 3, which is 15% with a no CAW, which is races 6, 8, and 10. So 3 races we covered. Or the late pick 3, which is 15% no CAW, which is races 8, 9, and 10. Yeah. The pick 3s are better plays. Like and that's one of the reasons why this sequence is kind of a fun one to go over, because we've talked through all 3 races in the turf pick 3. We've talked through all the races in the late pick 3. We traditionally do a pick 5 on this show because people love betting pick 5s and they want to hear about pick 5s. That doesn't mean you should ignore the takeout or ignore the aspect of it. It's one of the reasons why my ticket's not that expensive. It's $48 for a $1 ticket, $24 for 50 cents. Instead of playing a bigger ticket, I'm probably going to bet the turf pick 3 with a single early, and then I'll have a press ticket through the 1 here late, and I'll have a little more expensive $3 ticket, not more expensive, but more horses in the $3 ticket, where I'll use the 5 at 15-1, and I will play the late pick 3 because I do like the 5-horse Nevada Beach at 12-1. I like the 5-horse in the last race at 15-1. To me, they're all 3 sequences are playable, but I'm going to adjust how much I play into them based on who else is playing into them and the takeout. So I will bet less into the late pick 5. And then I will have the turf pick 3 and late pick 3 tickets tomorrow because I do think those are very attractive bets. I also will probably play the sunset pick 6 tomorrow because I like these last 3 races. And I have opinions in the last 3 races that are prices or a big opinion in warming. So to me, the all 3 of those additional sequences, which fortunately we cover all 3 of the races at Santa Anita, they're involved in all 3 of them, are very, very playable and I think makes sense to be playing. And if you don't want to play the pick 5, I think by watching this show, you get a pretty good idea of who Magic and I like in the turf pick 3, as well as in the late pick 3. And, I know last week neither of us hit at Parks, which was really frustrating because we had multiple users or viewers that hit because we talked about the 7 who wins at 22-1 with your boy Paco Lopez aboard, who goes gate to wire. We talked about that horse for a good 4 or 5 minutes, and someone even sent their notes where they mentioned the speed, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, they had 7 speed in parentheses there, the horse we didn't use but had everybody else. So just because we're covering a specific sequence or saying this is our specific ticket, everyone out there is more than welcome to make adjustments to those tickets and make adjustments based on the discussion and their opinion to try and get something home as well. So great comment, Daryl. Thank you for pointing out thank you for pointing out everything around the takeout. I think it's very important, very relevant on what the takeout is, who can play in those sequences. And I am going to play all 3, but I am going to kind of adjust how I play it. And thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate that. Yeah. Huge day at Kentucky Down. It was like 2 Thursdays ago now, $25,000 hit for the Samo Bombs, which made us profitable for the year. And we still have 3 months left, which is kind of nice. Like we cannot lose if you played every day. We still have 3 months left in the year.
With that, we're going to end the Magic Mike Show. Thank you for joining us for episode 606, covering Saturday, September 27th at Santa Anita Park. And I was going to say your response to Daryl, I'm glad you brought it up. I was going to say everything that you mentioned there. Feel free to. It's nice that we covered those other wagers here. But yes, the pick 5 shows just. That's what does the best. So that's really, we're trying to reach the most people, have the biggest audience. But however we can help people, we're happy to do it. We'll give out our tickets one final time. For the audio listeners, we'll read them out. Mike and I both made adjustments mid-show, which is always fun. But we'll post it down below if you're watching us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. I'm going to start off going 5-6 with 1-3-5-7 with 5-6-8. Single full Serrano in the Goodwood, the 7-horse, and then 1-4-5. 8, 9, 11, $72 for me for 50 cents. And you have a $1 ticket that's much cheaper.
Yeah, $1 ticket for $48 here. Paz diverge immediately. I'm going to single the 7 to kick it off. Go 1-3-5-7 with 1-6-8 with 5-7 with 1-9. If you want to play a cold turf pick 3, I don't hate the idea of just going 7 with who did I like in the second race now? Can't remember. Let me say the
8-horse was your top play there.
7 with 8 with 1. I don't mind that cold turf pick 3 at all.
I mean, it'll cost you $3, and if it connects, you're getting a lot more than $3 back because of the low takeout and the pools there. Appreciate everybody for joining us here. I agree with Nick. Also, the CAW being out is more important than the takeout. They're both important, but losing the CAW from those special pick 3s and doubles is it's very big because it pays a lot more. So Support the tracks that are doing that. They're trying to make it better for us, the horse players, because all we do is bitch about it. So back it up.
Well,
Everybody was bitching about it. Let's back it up where we were at and support them. It worked well at Del Mar. Works well at other tracks.
even
This might go ahead.
even more than supporting the tracks, support the wagers that the tracks put out.
Yes.
Without CAW, because if the way that you can have your voice heard is if you are betting the non-CAW wagers and the handle for those bets are going up and they're getting higher and they're taking more percent, you are basically telling the tracks, I am more interested in betting in handle or betting into bets that do not include those computer assisted wagering. We always say you vote with your dollar, right? When you pick your track, when you pick your bet, vote with your dollar in non-CAW pools, because that tells the track that is what you want more of and that's what you want to be able to bet into.
1 week from today, do you know what happens on Friday, October 3rd?
Keeneland opens?
I was going to say Taylor Swift's new album drops, but yes, also Keeneland opens. I was going to pick the other one, whichever way you went, I was going to go the other way. But yes, Keeneland opens on October 3rd through the 25th. So that means next week's show is going to be at Keeneland. So it might be the only time we cover Santa Anita for this truncated meet.
Wait, you're going to Keeneland? Show. We're going to Keeneland? What? You're flying
next
us to
weekend.
Keeneland?
Yes.
You're flying us out there?
I'm going to hit this pick 5.
I'm show.
The pick 3. I'm going to hit the double. I'm going to hit all the wagers and be able to afford us tickets to go out to Keeneland. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. All right. If Magic hits the pick 5, he is flying both of us to Keeneland.
No. Well, I guess if I hit the pick 5, I'm hitting those other ones too, aren't I? Hit. Can I get you a bottle of tequila instead?
I mean, you still owe me a bottle of tequila. I don't have the first one yet. I'm still my shelf is empty.
We'll fix that soon. Appreciate everybody for joining us. Follow us on Twitter. I am at Chris Kalleward. He is at Samobomb 18, number 1, number 8. Check out the Samobombs and check him out on VSiN as well, where the Samobomb's going this weekend. And also, how can we watch you on VSiN?
Little Santa Anita and Backwood Day tomorrow. Then I'll decide based on the weather if it's Santa Anita or Backwood on Sunday. We both got both Santa Anita and Backwood up for today. Kind of bummed about my decision making. I didn't go deep enough in the second race. / I probably should have had the 1 in there instead of the 2 after having the winner on top in the first race. But we still have the pick 5 that starts here, race 3, as well as the pick 5 and pick 5 there at Backwood today. VSiN, you can check out VSiN at the track there in Halterman and I. If you want to go to at Samobomb 18. You can check out the feed there. You can also find it at Apple, Spotify, or at VSiN Live on YouTube. Make sure you download Sharp Money. It's a new podcast with Patrick Meyer and I, where we rip through the board for the NFL slate every Sunday night. We preview the following week, so you can get your the best number early. And then on Thursday, we go through all of our best bets. That's Sharp Money, anywhere you find your podcasts. And then Saturday and Sunday, I'll be on VSiN from 3 to 7 on Saturday Pacific and 1 to 4 on Sunday. 6 to 7 is the contest show, where we will give out release all of the picks in both Circa Millions as well as Circa Survivor. 5,000 people out in Circa Survivor through 3 weeks, 13,000 left, chasing $18.1 million. Find out those picks on Saturday, 6 to 7 Pacific.
Good luck with that, sir. I'll be on FanDuel TV Saturday and Sunday, the 9 to noon morning shift, 9 to noon Pacific. So join me for some early racing action there at FanDuel. We'll have people at Churchill Downs on site and then set you up for Santa Anita in the afternoon as well. And like I said, we'll be back next weekend covering Keeneland's Pick 5 on Saturday, October 4th. So get ready. Keeneland opening day a week away from today.
Already backing out. Unbelievable.
I am clarifying.
You said we were going to be live at Keeneland. That's what you said. That is direct quote.
I'll run the tape back and double check that.
I got a question for you. All the people want to know. As a FanDuel employee who's live on air,
okay,
do you like it when you've got people at Churchill, people at Santa Anita, and you're kind of pitching it all around, or do you prefer when you're hanging out in the studio and you've got your co-host there and you're just kind of riffing about the races, what happened over the weekend, all that jazz?
It depends on my energy level.
Sure.
Because it is a much easier job in studio when we have people. Say it's even just one track at Churchill. I've had days where there's 3 different tracks, and it's like I might speak for once an hour because what's that?
You're a point guard. You're just dishing it off to the, and they pass it back. You throw it out to somebody else who pops the 3.
If we have a lot of tracks going, I'm more like the 6th man on the bench, because they'll usually come in because they'll say, hey, Churchill is taking off this race for lunch, or so-and-so had to step out for the bathroom. Can you just give us the order a finish, and then throw to the commercial. Got it. And then I'll see you again in 45 minutes kind of thing. I will say, I don't like being, it's nothing against the people I've done it with, but if I'm in studio and the other person I'm with is on Zoom, that's tough just because it's hard there's always a delay. So it's tough to get like a good back and forth going. It just feels a little stilted.
Well, it also like makes a difference with how much you've worked with someone. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have the same co-host and Matt Brown over at VSiN for a long time, and we were in studio every weekend last football season. And part of my new deal is I'm not flying that much to Vegas, and like the rapport is there because we've been next to each other for so long. You understand when someone's going to stop talking. When you just start with someone on Zoom, that's when it's really difficult because you have the pause and the delay. And you don't want to elongate that by not understanding when it's your turn to talk and when you're flipping back and forth.
Depends on if the baby slept last night. That's also, that's what I meant by my energy level. Yeah, to the host thing, like you and I have been doing this for over 7 years now. So, and rarely did we ever get to do it in person, but we have the repartee to go back and forth. My favorite show almost every week is Wednesday nights, 5 to 8 Pacific. You're like, who's even running? Not many tracks, but it's our features are the last 2 at Penn National. We'll pick up the last few at Mountaineer. But we get pretty much all of Assiniboia Downs in Winnipeg.
Yep.
And that track is so bonkers, but it's got a special place in my heart because I usually cover the entire card, and it's Jose Contreras and I just BSing for 3 hours because we know very few people are watching FanDuel TV 5 to 8 Pacific. We understand that, and we have a lot of fun. So it's the most you get of me, like on the Magic Mike show. That's the most I ever am on FanDuel. It was when I'm on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, well, I'm on Wednesday nights on VSiN now, and we're doing a 4-hour primetime show, and that show is a lot of fun to do because you're not. You get to look back at last week's NFL week and the college week. You get to look forward at the next week. So you have a bunch of topics, and there's not a lot going on, right? You've got some baseball games going on, but there's no football going on. And so you get to BS a lot more, and you get to throw takes out there, and you get to have fun talking about what happened and what's going to. It's just it is a fun time to be able to do it. Those Wednesday night shows, and it also is interesting, like. You know, when a lot of people are watching and when a lot of people aren't watching, and the vibes are very different based on those time slots that you're in. Yeah,
as some people will say, the professionalism level does this sometimes when you're.
The buttoned up level changes, not necessarily the professionalism, but how buttoned up you are in that area changes.
There was a DQ that happened in a race at Assiniboia with. There's a horse that I've fallen in love with at Assiniboia. And he got DQ'd. He's good. He got for that level, and he got DQ'd out of a win. That the DQ was questionable at best. But I went on a rant for like 5 minutes, like through the commercial break, came back. I was still ranting about it. The horse ran again last week or this past Wednesday, and at the top of the show, I was like, I swear to God, if these stewards throw me out of this pick 4 again because of this horse. It was a lot of fun. It's kind of fun for like the 10 people that watch every week in that time slot. It's kind of like our Magic Mike show audience. We have a lot more than 10, but it's like the regulars. You can bring up things from a long time ago, and they're right there with you. It's getting to be that way.
I love it. Look at that nice little 10-minute discussion about work there. But I hope it was interesting for everybody out there.
Yeah. Am I gonna be on site at Santa Anita? Not likely this meet. I have discussed with my bosses about trying to get me on track more often. So hopefully that will happen probably in the winter meet because that's when a lot of the talent will start taking vacations and time away. So do they know that's when I get called up from the bullpen?
Do they know that you're flying us out to Keeneland next weekend? Have you told them yet?
We'll be back next week for a Keeneland Pick 5 show. Until then, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
Good luck this weekend.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.